Hola amigos, welcome to another episode of Money Maketh Man. I remain your host, Oro Gbinije, aka OG. And on today's episode, I brought my friends together. This is a Gen Z roundtable episode, so don't touch that screen. Welcome back. Like I said, this is a Gen Z roundtable episode, and I have some old faces, some of your faves, and some new faces. Basically, when people hear Gen Z, they always think ignorant, entitled, Twitter happy, keyboard happy. But we're actually working hard, and we have some anxieties around money. So I got some of my friends together to talk about it. So I'll let my friends introduce themselves, and we'll get right into the episode. So starting from my right.
Hi guys, Franklin here. I'm a credit risk analyst and I'm happy to be here.
Hi guys, Chiamaka, corporate lawyer. Super happy to be here.
Hi guys, Femi here. I'm a consultant. Glad to be here.
Hello everybody, I'm Dreamchild and I am a writer and semi-unemployed.
Anyway, so let's get into it. So first off, if your bank account had a mood as of today, what would be the mood, or what would your bank account tell you? Who's going to go first?
First, which bank account?
Anyone. The main one. Like your current.
My current bank account. It should be asking, why are you always leaving me empty?
Okay. DC.
These are trying times. I think that's what you say. This is not you.
So it would be my mutual funds account, and it would be saying you can do better.
In God we trust.
I think my account will tell me to start acting my wage, because for one credit they're like 10, 20 debits.
Yeah, same here.
So
same here.
it's not.
But that's how it should be, right?
No, it should
be like
it should
that.
be 10 credits,
1K,
one day.
1K, but 1 million credits.
Perspective.
Really. Number 2, passion or paycheck?
Both.
Yeah.
Okay, so Femi, what do you think?
Sorry, I did not know I was around people that please paycheck every day and twice on Sunday.
Why once? Why one when you can't have?
I think if your passion happens to pay you, you're good. But if
You're not good, you're fantastic.
I mean, if you have a chance to choose, why
Unless
just
you
don't
get
choose
tired of your
both?
passion and it becomes work.
Well, like
that
my
happens?
passion is watching movies. How much can that pay me?
That's
Really?
Well,
Well,
no, that's where you're wrong.
Okay,
There are jobs
I
that
should become Rotten
there are,
Tomatoes.
there are jobs that pay. Okay, I recently just
Testers.
did a job that had me watch about 100 movies during a week.
Let's talk after.
No problem.
Okay, so Chiamaka, passion or paycheck?
I think life is long enough to accommodate both. So I think when you're younger, paycheck, and then a little like later,
Yeah.
you can do passion off your paycheck.
I'm ruthlessly paycheck because I believe that, okay, yeah, I'm young. I have nothing holding me back. So
Get your money up.
get my money up.
Get your
Then when
money
I'm
up.
older, yeah.
I
we
don't
can
think you've
passion.
done an unhappy job. I think you're really happy with the job you're doing,
Oh,
because
you
if you've
think so?
done a job that is not aligned with your passion, you're going to rethink your statement.
Name a
really.
job you think I haven't done.
And Femi has done a lot. Like I said, if your passion happens to pay you, great for you.
Yeah.
But you cannot use passion to pay rent. So
Let's be real. If you're hungry, you do anything.
Exactly.
truly, yeah. So, well, what do you guys think? In the comments, passion or paycheck, what do you think is for you? What is your honest relationship with savings and investments in terms of, are you disciplined? Is it comme ci, comme ça? Is it like all die or die, c'est la vie?
What do you want to save? what inside the money do you want to save?
Now chop don't they save?
To be honest, I think savings are kind of overrated, especially if you're in Nigeria, because it doesn't make any sense if inflation rate is 30% and you are getting 3% on your savings.
That makes sense.
If your money is not like maybe working,
Frankly,
if your money is not maybe working for you and maybe beating inflation, then there's really no point to save,
So
to be honest.
I'm sorry. So do you mean like invest as opposed to save?
Exactly. You can put it that way.
Okay.
There are a lot of other things that are not like typical mutual funds. You can start up something. People do YouTube content these days. There's a lot of
mutual
things.
funds are still losing money when we check
But
into
it's
inflation.
better. It's better than
At
savings.
least, okay, I'm losing 10% of my purchasing power rather than
Exactly.
25 to 30.
So what you guys are saying is that you're not disciplined or you're not saving.
Well,
You're not saving.
if I save money today for rainy days, the rainy days usually come tomorrow. So
But at least you get umbrella for the rainy
I
day.
get the umbrella. Yes,
I currently
will lie.
have no investments apart from like S&P and all those basic ones. And
That's the something.
No.
That's something.
You have
No.
S&Ps. That's investment.
no,
You get more than 10% at least in
no,
dollars.
my savings is way more than my investments.
So are you disciplined with your
way
savings?
I would say I was.
You were, but
Yes.
now you're on a.
Now I am living off my savings.
What are you saving for?
Nothing.
People just save because they feel good about it. I think
I'm not saving because I feel good about it. I'm a freelancer. I
Okay.
don't know when I'm going to get
exactly.
work.
Okay, that makes
So I
sense.
need money to live off of. And that's what I have.
That makes sense.
I mean, I was going to ask though, like the way we're using savings and investments, because me, I personally, like I invest most of my money in mutual funds, but I think that that's also a means of saving because it's like it's in an account, you're investing it, but it's ready whenever you need it to be. So isn't that sort of synonymous with saving?
It is.
It is
Fair
very
enough.
Yeah, all
I mean, to be fair,
investments is a form of savings, but not all forms of savings are investments.
Yeah.
a savings account kind of is an investment, kind of. In a way.
Well,
It's better than just keeping
Living
it
it
in
Yeah.
cash.
for me, I have two moods with money, I think. So I'm like, if I'm saving towards something, I'm like, okay, I've calculated this is the time period, this is the minimum I have to put towards this thing, and it's like on the go. But then I also have the I've been broke before and I did not die phase. Like there are just sometimes I'm like, you know
You
what?
only live once.
I'm gonna chop the life from my head. Anything we want happen, make it happen. And it's really bad. And that my phase usually starts from like my birthday towards the end of the year. It's just like, you know what, that dress, just buy it. Don't think about it too much. You want to go here, go there. Swipe your card. But like, honestly, savings, most people make it seem like, oh, savings is easy. It's not. Now, who don't chop the save, number one.
Real.
Number two, some months it's easier to save than others.
Yeah.
Like some months you have like back to back, maybe two friends are getting married, you have to do this, rent is coming up, this one. None of us here have kids, so I can't use school fees for now.
Some people have
Obligations.
Obligations,
Yeah.
yeah.
Black tax is a real
Black
thing.
You have a
tax.
cat,
It's
you
a
have
I
real
two
have two
cats.
pets, and when their vet bills come up, it can actually choke.
Wow, that's
Yes.
very untypical. That's very untypical. Like I'm trying to survive.
I mean, like, do you guys ever feel the urge to not trust something?
I get that. Believe me, I do. But then
I
you
don't.
look at your,
I
you know,
really don't.
No, I
don't.
At this time.
Like,
I didn't think it was going to be that expensive, but
oh well, okay.
Yeah,
So now this question, I'm scared to ask it, but what is your ideal safety net figure as far the amount of money that you have in your, it's not as if you're made and you're not working, like type of money that you have in your account and you're like, you know what, I'm on autopilot, I can press chill and just, if you decide not to work for 2 months, you're good. What am I saying? 2 months is small, like 6 months, you're fine. Your standard of living will not drop. It would, like, you can explore your safety net figure.
I have a figure in my head, and my figure is always rent plus 10K for every day.
10K naira
For every day.
or dollar.
Naira.
that's below poverty line, right?
Yes.
3 point. Poverty line.
It's
But
is
that's a
$5.
safety.
Okay.
It's a safety net.
Safety net figure.
For
So
6 months.
Yes.
10K.
10K naira for every day for 6 months.
in
Plus
Naira,
rent.
6
Rent
million.
paid.
safety net figure, as per you can go big.
The timeline is 6 months.
Not
Yeah.
6. The timeline is in 6 months, but I'm just saying that the type of money that for 6 months to a year, you don't really need to work, but your standard of living wouldn't drop.
That's what
If you
I'm
want to do whatever you want to do, like go out, travel, you're not thinking too much because you know
I can call any figure.
you can call it.
Like 1 billion is
I was thinking more like $25,000 actually.
Mine is $100K.
100K. Yeah, fair enough.
Like $100,000. I know
Yeah,
that.
that's quite high. I mean, $25,000 is reasonable for me because that's over 30 million naira.
So
For
for
every
me,
year, that's not bad. I
so
can
when I
year.
mean like safety net, because you know the thing is, anything can come up. Even though like rent is paid, you're eating, whatever,
Yeah.
anything can happen at.
That's going to take 30 million naira.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
bigger the money, the bigger
One
the
health
problem.
emergency,
So
that's
Like
it.
that's it.
That's
It's
so I
trouble.
guess
It's not really
the
HMO
HMO wouldn't cover
To
that
take
much.
a chunk out of it. That's for sure.
And honestly, 25K, if you're living La Vida Loca and you go
Not my kind of La Vida Loca.
Wait.
You said to maintain your standard of
Euro
living.
summer,
I know
and
they
you
go
hold
Euro summer.
25K. So what's your figure?
I'm going to be conservative and say 15 million naira.
That's even
that's
lower than
fair.
25K.
Like 10?
That's like 10K. Yeah.
10K.
Not just like you said, based on how you live
Currently, no,
currently,
yeah.
right? If I don't work 6 months,
Yeah.
and
So why I said 100K, now you guys are making me feel like my eyes are Kokoro. But why I said 100K is because I have financial anxiety. Like I'm always like, oh my God, worst case scenario? What if like all my people just happen to, for some reason, nobody can come through or something really bad happens? Like, where's the...
But that's the thing, right? If you have financial anxiety, more money doesn't solve that.
That's the point.
The more money, the more your imagination. So you
Yes.
imagine worse
And
things.
then-
So it gets amplified.
Lifestyle inflation.
So I just believe that. Here's my own. I am a very risk heavy person.
Yes, he is.
So I believe I have my baseline. Can I eat? Do I have a roof over my head? I'll be fine. So whatever risk I'm taking, I keep that in mind that, okay, if I lose everything today, can I eat? Do I have a roof over my head?
Then you're good.
Do you know this Bible quote that says, God takes care of the birds of the air?
Yes,
Ah,
exactly.
That's a very,
You'll be fine.
that's a very wrong reference because
I've been-
this is what people say when they're about to make a wrong financial
Do you
decision.
know,
You don't
like,
get it. I've been there. I've been there several times. My first thing I did was a startup.
Mhm.
Busted. 0 naira. 0. Moved back in with my dad. And I didn't die.
Yeesh.
well, true. But when that thing was happening, did you think you would die?
I did think I
Exactly.
was. But if I did die,
But
I won't die again.
okay. Well, I get what you're saying, and with DC bringing up the Bible verse, there's also a relationship between religion and finances, but I don't really want to get into that right
Why
now
not? People should talk about
it's
these
going
things
to be
more.
it's going to be like a really long discussion.
Pay your tithes.
It's not
that's
about
bad.
time payments. It's just about like, the verse of, oh, God takes care of the birds in the sky, the fox, everything.
Yes.
Then how much you, who is my child. But the truth is, there's some days I'm like, God, I know that other times I've prayed to you about this thing and you came through, but this one, it's like you're not hearing what I'm saying about this thing.
Trying to show you something.
Well, yes. And when they say your waiting time is like the hardest time.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that people need to... There's a relationship between finances and religion, and also finances and the way people perceive money. Because there are people that just believe that money comes to them.
Yeah.
I'm not on that
Spend
line.
it to come.
Yeah, there are lots of people who believe like, I don't have a plan, but I'm going to spend this money, and the money is going to find a way back to me. And somehow,
It does.
it does.
It does.
Here's my rejoin that. I believe optimism is a superpower.
Yes.
Well, true.
Everybody can be pessimistic.
Yeah, but being optimistic.
Being
And
optimistic
faith.
works.
Not blind faith though.
Just be optimistic. Try it. If it spoils, it spoils. Just be
Just do
optimistic.
it.
Okay.
Guys, Nike, just do it.
So,
So, yeah, do you guys know what Ikigai is?
I think I have an idea. But
I think it ties back to the passion thing you were talking about
Yes, so
earlier.
Ikigai is a Japanese school of thought where it is what you're good at, what you love, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. So it's like a merging, like a Venn diagram of all four things, or a rope that ties all four things together. Do you think you have one or all four of these Ikigai components? Obviously, we're all employed, so we're getting paid for something.
so my job, basically, I'm on
Do you
3
think
steps out of the 4.
so? What is missing for you?
What I love.
Okay,
I need you to say the steps again.
so what you are good at, what you love, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for.
Yeah, so same way for me. What I love is
Frank,
allegedly.
Alex.
If your employer is watching, allegedly.
Yeah.
yeah,
Franklin.
I think I think I'm missing. I don't know. I guess I would say what I love, but I think I'm growing to enjoy what I'm doing now. So maybe that's coming. So I think I'm almost
Me
there.
too.
Okay. DC.
Well, I'm increasingly pessimistic about about
go?
where the world is going.
Okay, so you don't think
I,
you're doing what the world needs?
We are clearly reaching end stage capitalism.
Yeah.
We are clearly reaching it, and it just makes it harder and harder for me to imagine a world where all these things you've said will apply to an African boy like me.
True.
Yeah. So I'll be real. Of all the people on this table, I probably am the one in that Venn diagram the most, in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But even I can feel a shift, and that's how I feel.
This is what happens when you ask a writer to answer a question. But yeah, context, really deep. But I get what you're saying. For me, I'll say I'm 2 out of 4. So what you can get paid for and what you're good at.
I don't really think it's possible for someone to like be, in all 4 circles at the same time, because
It's possible.
I feel like sometimes.
Not all footballers. Some
The world
footballers.
needs entertainment.
Some footballers hate football. They're just really
That's true. You can be
Chess
good at
is Slum's
something,
guy
but
might be in all 4.
pardon?
Chess.
Chess is-
Tunde,
yeah.
It's chess entertaining so much.
He can be
I
can't find it
personally feel like
entertaining.
maybe he's an introvert. Maybe he doesn't like the attention, right? But it comes with what so what you love would always bring some part of things you don't really enjoy. So
Yeah,
that's
you can't
true.
really just check all the boxes at the same time.
True.
But I think athletes and entertainers are probably the closest to
Yeah.
There are
taking
aspects
all
of
4.
everything you do that you do not like, right? Maybe they would
Yeah, but
enjoy.
you're thinking
Maybe
about things too literally.
Yeah,
Like,
like
just
what you
have
love,
more
like that's
broader
your
sense.
passion.
When you're working, do you enjoy what you are doing? Do
Like,
you understand? Is this something you
if
love
you
doing?
weren't getting paid for what you
Would
do,
you do
would
it?
you do it?
Yeah, that changes the context.
Yeah, so that's like
If
what
you're
you
not
love.
getting paid for your job, would you do it?
And that's why I
So
said,
you
that's
know
why I said
it.
Tunde like me, because before he became popular, he was doing
what
it
he's doing,
and he was
yeah.
doing it well. So yeah, for me, what I'm good at, what I can get paid for, what I love, I'm a multifaceted person, so I love a lot of things. So like it shifts. Tomorrow I might produce movies. You really don't know. I'm
Me
that
too,
type
actually.
of babe. What the world needs. The world needs a reset, so and I'm not bringing that. So
The world needs a lot of things.
that's not me. Another question. You guys, you can be honest. You can be
Okay.
honest. No, zero judging zone.
Okay.
Have you ever been involved in a Ponzi scheme?
Yes, so
If we're all being honest with all that, so
No.
wow,
No.
I'm telling you
have.
about it. You must really know how to deal with peer pressure and all of that.
I have.
'Cause,
No. When people were doing what's be that in triple M, MMM, and in school they're like, oh, if you bring 10K, you for my mind, from which pocket money when I want to make, I bring 10K. That's my home taste food, please. That's my lunch money.
I have this feeling whenever I do not like marketers, first things first.
Yeah.
So MMM brings or Ponzi schemes brings a lot of marketing from people.
Yeah.
So whenever it turns me off immediately, I do not want to be involved in anything where I have to bring someone or I have to market to someone. Never.
I was young and I was roped into a loom scheme.
A loom.
Yeah, they call it a loom,
Okay.
where they add people to like a diagram.
Like
Yeah.
and everybody
tree.
has
Get
to
the whole picture.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then it reached my turn to be on top of that loom.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And I pushed because I had to get paid. I had spent money,
Yeah.
so but I didn't. So
I think I was fortunate, I'd say, because I was lucky enough. But then when I lost, it didn't as much as scratch the surface of what I'd gained. So I guess
So for me, it's like when something is too good to be true, then it's too good to be true. Even before I got into finance, because the original plan was not to be in the line of work, but anyways, life happens. Even when people are coming, I think MMM happened in my first year of uni, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I was like 16, 17. And then people will be like, oh, they put their pocket money, maybe they put like 50K, they are getting 150K. I'm like, what's the math behind putting 50K to get 150 at the end of the week? Or you bring 12K, they'll give you 21. I'm like, what is the math behind this investment? And this was long before all this percentage and NPR became my business. I just felt like it was too good to be true. However, I've also known that with Ponzi schemes, if you're greedy, that's where you lose the most because
I believe for a Ponzi scheme to work for you, you must believe incredibly in your own good luck.
Or just be early.
So what I'll say is, I want to respond to the if it's too good to be true, then it's probably not true. I think there are a lot of things that are too good to be true that ended up being true. But I would say you should really research, understand what you're doing. Because someone that got BTC probably in 2017 at maybe $1, like he's 100K richer today,
like
right? So it's unimaginable, right? But it became true.
Between that time and now, didn't BTC crash at a point?
They're not in a sense. If you got it at $1,
has been astronomical.
It's 100,000. That's like I don't know,
100,000%.
100,000% gain. So if it's too good to be true and you understand it, so
you understand the fundamentals.
You can't just go in because of the hype.
I feel like many of us, at least in my case, we have been primed to fall for these schemes because I grew up in a household that always used to do multi-level marketing schemes, forever products.
But those ones had good fundamentals, to be fair with them. Those traditional ones, they had good fundamentals.
So someone comes and tells you, oh, you just need to market and get some people in. Like, oh, okay, my parents used to do this. So why not?
I knew a lady when I was in primary school that she did the forever thing so well that they gave her an SUV.
Yeah, I know people that go.
Probably like the 2%.
She had reached the peak of the thing. Like she had an SUV and she tied that Forever had one like I don't know what it was, but it came in like this mini jerry can. Yeah. So she tied
aloe vera.
I think it was the aloe vera. She tied it to her bumper or something. Like now we're talking about it, the image just came into my head. So yeah, okay. What is your biggest fear about money?
Running out of it.
Fair enough.
I think that's everybody's biggest fear, right?
No, my biggest fear is
debt.
Not really debt. Being unable to earn money. I have money and the money is slowly running out.
And
I can't earn money.
Yeah, skip professional now. You should be able to.
Skip professional, they retire.
They retire. That's the point. If you can't make money, I'd rather just be earning, even if it's a tiny amount. I'd rather just be earning. My own anxiety is not running out. My anxiety is nothing's coming in. It drives me mad.
When she asked your biggest fear of money, you said debt. I'm really interested. What's your own view about debt?
I know how debt can work in your favor.
Exactly.
But I know that I'm not in that position.
I really think if you're in a country like Nigeria, you'd be better off understanding how debts work. Because if I want to get something right, say I want to write an exam that is probably XYZ dollar, I'm better off paying for it today than trying to save for it. Because you will never, especially if you're saving in Naira, you'll never be able to, save up for it. Because the more time passes, the more the first inflation, then secondly, the dollar value. So I think you should really understand how to manage that.
I've seen salary workers trapped in debt traps from banks.
That's bad debt.
For years. We're talking decades. They are servicing and servicing.
They're probably using debt to acquire liabilities, which doesn't really work out well.
That's the
how
point.
How many profitable businesses will be able to beat your bank's inflation rates and your interest rates? How many?
It's something you would eventually do. This is one, like if you want to, like back to my exam analogy, you want to write the exam. It's something you will eventually do in future. You could either save for it, or if you're a worker like me, you can take upfront, debt, pay for it, and then it's almost the same thing.
Let me give you an example for it. There's an exam I want to write. $750. When I first started working, I was like, yes, this is $700K. Cool. I'll pay for it.
How much is that now?
Now that same exam, I saved up to 600, and by the time I saved up to 600, it was 1.2.
Exactly.
So where was I? Where I started.
Exactly.
But if I had taken a loan and paid for it then at 700K, I would have paid it off by now.
I think it's just because there's, how in other countries, there's that culture of like taking out loans to do things. But it's just not a thing in Nigeria. If you're buying a car, you're dropping the 8 million or however much you need immediately.
Imagine you're paying 30% on a car loan for 6 years. You're paying double if not triple the amount of it.
But if you don't buy that car then, at the time you're ready to buy it, the price would have, tripled as well.
But still, you're paying triple. It doesn't just compute in the average Nigerian's head. That I'm paying 3 times the
Why not
amount
just
for a
waste
single
3
time.
years to buy the car?
Yeah,
Great.
exactly.
It makes sense because I
Even
think
with
most
home ownership.
Home ownership. Okay,
You
home
can
ownership.
mortgage. You can take a mortgage loan and
Calculate.
But
get
their
your
rates are not great.
Yes,
Most-
but calculate how
maybe
much a
rates are the
mortgage will
problem.
cost you in real terms, on value terms, over the course of 20 years.
you're not accounting for time value of money.
I am accounting
the
for it.
amount you pay in maybe 5 years' time is way less, way lower than the amount you would have paid today if you account for
Sure.
time value of money. I think most literature we consume about money are from, Western worlds where inflation are single digits, right? So you can actually save $100 in your bank and come the next year and the apple has, you want to get an apple for $100, you probably buy it at 2% inflation, $102, right? But in Nigeria, if you're coming back to get that apple the next day, it's at probably 200 naira. So what's the incentive to actually, not get it now?
For a young professional, this is what I believe. The only acceptable form of debt is to invest in you earning more.
Exactly.
Okay.
I do not believe in
Assets.
in buying anything with debt, like
With
a
a
phone,
loan, yeah.
a car with a loan. Me or my husband,
Universally or just being in Nigeria?
being in Nigeria,
Okay.
the only form of debt that is acceptable is, okay, is this money going to help me earn more? The exam. Maybe doing something that helps you, positions you closer to work, positions you to earn more money. That's the only form of debt that is acceptable to
What about mortgage? Mortgages?
No,
So you are paying rent already.
I prefer
That
it.
that rent you are paying could have been like could have been
The maths,
payments, your
the
mortgage
maths-
payments.
The maths doesn't make any form of sense for me.
Okay. I think I'll bring you guys back for mortgage and rent discussion.
Yes,
But
I
back
like that.
to our biggest fear about money. So my fear about money is, from what I've seen in life, somebody take her 50 years old. Well, from what I've seen, I feel like money comes in phases. So you have your uptime and you have downtime. Everyone has uptime and downtime. Now, my fear is that uptime, if I don't want to be one of those, I get property before people. I don't want to be, I was the first person to buy a Tesla in Nigeria. But by the time I'm saying it, Tesla has brought out 25 more versions and I can't even buy version 10. But I'm raising shoulder that, I was the first person to buy Tesla. Okay, cool. You bought Tesla in 1998. I'm just giving an example. But we're talking about today. So my fear with money is not maximizing
Your
the
uptimes.
uptimes, so that in the downtimes it's not so bad. Because they say this thing, money is spirits. The way money, you will see a figure on paper and you think, oh yeah, this is heavy. By the time you put 1 or 2 down, it's just like, what happened? I don't know if you guys remember this conversation on Twitter that happened like a month ago, where somebody was like, they can't live on 100K a week. And then Twitter was polarized. People were like,
That's pressure.
and I'm like, 100K a week.
I guess why some people won't be able to.
It
do it.
depends on the week for me.
True.
Like, it depends on that week, because that week it could be, let me use Lagos now. I don't drive. I don't have a car. It's rainy season. On a typical day, I take bus to work and I spend less than 1K on transport. But if it's pouring, I'm going to book an Uber. And Uber is going to
20
be
times.
higher because it's raining. So instead of spending 1K on transport that day, maybe I end up spending like 10, 11K that day.
You may not order food because you're annoyed.
Yeah, exactly. And then before you know it, do that 3 times a week. How much don't go?
And that's if you're lucky enough to only commute 3 times a week. What if you do 5 times a week?
Really?
Do you do 5 times a week?
I do 4 times a week.
And I'm not doing Lagos. I'm not doing island, mainland. I'm doing like island, Lagos Island vibes. So do you get it? When the whole conversation was happening, some people were like, "Oh, people are lying." I'm like, it depends.
I think we actually made it
On
spend up to
the
that,
week.
but we've never sat down to
Like, it
calculate.
depends on the
Now
week.
you're talking
Yeah,
about it,
I
I'm
know
just
how much I
calculating
spend
in my
in
I
head.
know how much I spend.
It depends on the
use
week.
budget.
Because
Any weekend I go out, I know that 50K is leaving me and I didn't do anything.
Fair enough.
That's facts.
Mainland to island, okay, on a bad day, both can be charging you to upwards of 12 to 13,000.
yeah,
Yeah,
Going.
fair.
coming back.
Coming back,
That's not too much, by the way.
food,
It could be more.
drinks, maybe the ticket to get into wherever you
Yeah,
want
go.
to
Yeah,
get.
exactly.
So by the time I didn't go out, I didn't oblate
Yeah, you didn't go for
I just went for a simple, maybe a trivia night, maybe something nice and
something
calm.
cute.
50,000 has left my
50,000.
pocket.
Bam.
Once I go to the island, I know 20K has left. Cause just driving third mainland in my car, that's half my fuel tank. That's half. I don't go out often, and I enjoy driving. So when I'm going out, I use my car, and my car is not efficient at all.
So that's my own fear about money. Like this is just short term, but like
Under 100, I can live under it. Just
no, like I said, it depends on
week.
it depends on the week.
Every week.
Sometimes the 100K can last 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Average.
Yeah,
If you take-
that's
if you
fair.
take
That
the
can
average,
happen.
I think
Yes.
could
On average, yes,
maybe
I
less.
think-
Maybe
So-
more.
do you have child
There
deck?
are
Do you have
weeks
child
that
deck on your
would
phone?
exceed.
I have child deck.
So you're telling me that
Beginning of
on a bad
beginning of the
week,
year, I deleted Child Deck and Glovo because I was just like, this is a temptation.
they
I'm not
put me
doing
as
it.
their top 1%.
Wow.
At least that's
Wow, guys.
you probably made that woman rich.
I'm okay with it. You should
Me,
know my
I'm okay.
house by now.
I live like super close to this nice food place, the Village Restaurant
Okay.
in Lekki, and I come there so often.
They know
That
your
they
order.
now like I'm telling you, like if I don't come, they're like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "I've been cooking." That's what's up.
And I cook. That's the
There's
problem.
Are they cheap?
There's this
The
dessert
relatives.
place that is not too far from my house. Once I enter, they're like, oh, 1 or 2 brownies. I'm like,
Oh God!
They know your
When
order.
you,
Guys.
when you get to that point, like you
But
can't
like,
be helped.
at the end of the day, especially as a working young Nigerian, I feel like there should be some things that should be your guilty pleasure. Like,
Yeah.
Kilo is not the 5K that's going to save the country. So
Exactly.
if it's going to make your belly happy,
Okay.
Eat it.
I work. Okay. This is how I work from home. So certain days I wake up. I don't brush. My laptop is on my lap because someone's calling me that this is an emergency. And my sister will go to work, come back, still meet me on my bed,
Oh, wow.
working. So are you telling me that after that kind of day, I should go and enter kitchen and cook? No, child deck.
That's fair.
do you know Dio Bowls? If you own Dio Bowls, I know your brand because of this man.
Everybody that knows me knows
He-
the Bowls.
Dio Bowls.
You
I've
have
ordered it
money,
for
I
every
beg.
one of
Eat
my
a
friends.
chopper.
You have money.
Eat a chop. When we work together, Dio Bowl, he would just come. Jollof rice, spaghetti. I say, bros, wait till do Chicken Republic. Oh, yeah,
That's why the taste of chicken republic.
Sorry, please, let's not go there. We have words, but not today.
Okay. What's your unpopular opinion about money?
This will take
That's
a
no
while to think
controversy.
about.
Unpopular view about money.
My unpopular view about money is that we are too broke a country to be so obsessed with money.
Sure.
Shouldn't that be the other way?
Money is the I don't know how to put it. Money is like the definer of most relationships in this country. Friendships, relationships, everything.
Over family.
But all of us are broke together. Do you understand? In the grand
I'm not
scheme
broke
of
too,
things,
so
The thing is
in the
that
grand scheme of things, as a Nigerian, compared to our people
Your mates abroad. And
I
globally.
didn't go to school in Nigeria. 90% of my classmates are like doing way. They have houses, they have cars, they have children. They are married with 2 kids and stuff. So I am broker than
I
them.
think you're forgetting that there are people with crazy money in this country.
They are
And
poor.
that's the problem.
Mm.
If we're actually genuinely all poor together,
In the
that's
grand
fine.
scheme of things, no,
But there's a
your house-
percentage of people.
no. Let me tell you why. You are the person is still poor. Now still the same Lekki Ekpe we go fly.
You know me, no.
It's still the same bad road we are going to. You don't
We
have
can
pipe
live
bomb
at
water
any
in your
time.
house. It's still tank. Your pumping machine can still spoil. You have crazy money, but your pumping machine can still spoil. You have to generate your own electricity.
I think you're underestimating what it means to be poor.
That's exactly.
I'm saying that
they are poor. They are
no,
poor,
I'm trying to
poor.
explain to you that the baseline European
General-
villager
Pablo
Yeah.
Escobar
Has
was stuck in his
more
own
money.
country. He could not leave his
has
own country.
access to better amenities
See,
You know, we're
Than the
talking
rich
about
man in the
amenities, we're
country.
talking about standard
Yeah.
of living generally. You can
That's
say that
what I'm
Nigeria
saying.
has bad, but there are rich people
I'm not.
that
We
are
are saying
rich.
relative.
they are here
We are
in
saying
this country
relative.
because they can't be anywhere else.
That's my point.
That's just it. It's not
But
as if the money
still-
is the problem.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you, that in the grand scheme of things, as a country where we are, we are not rich. So why are we obsessed over money so
You
much?
say that that his
I
passion
don't
is
really
money
agree with you.
earlier.
I'm not
So
rich,
you are
yeah.
more.
But remember that
Actually
when I
say
say
that
that my
your
passion
paycheck.
is paycheck,
Yeah, paycheck over
but
passion.
I told you that I'm willing to risk anything. I'm willing to risk being broke.
to achieve
I
something.
think I get Femi in a sense, like
That's
how
why my opinion is
it's a broke country in general, but like money, like people should be a bit considerate. Like we're poor, so
It's because there is
expectations are a
money
bit too high.
somewhere.
There is,
People
but like
have
how
seen
many
some
people
kind of money
have
that
it?
skew their vision. That's what's going on.
I hear
Because
it.
I watched a Trevor Noah podcast where he was saying something about how he traveled to Kenya and he felt jealous because in the slums where he was, they didn't give a damn about money. They lived a happy life.
Because everyone
Yeah.
is
They
poor
were
together.
content.
Yeah.
And they felt bad for Trevor because he had to go back to America and suffer all the rent, and it was like, we don't want your life. Go and live your life. I'm saying that can't happen in Nigeria.
Because
Because if somebody comes to those people and over the course of decades is throwing dollars in their face,
And social media.
how do you
is
want
now-
them to feel?
Well, true.
What's going to happen? So I feel like there are just some people with a lot of money that have poisoned the well.
Skilled, okay.
Yeah.
So in line with
understand.
that, I think my unpopular opinion about money would be that people approach money as an end rather than a means to an end, right? Every young person has an amount they want to make in their head, but they can't maybe tie that down to their passion. Like you said, it might look very, generic, but yeah, you have to know if I get this, what am I doing? There's a level, if you haven't ever thought about that, you can get all this money and then you are depressed because you don't know what
Yeah.
exactly you are here for, with all this money.
Depression. with money.
I believe
I
money
think-
doesn't
no,
buy
no, I
happiness.
think-
I actually
think-
genuinely
I do
believe
know
that.
I disagree with you. So I have two unpopular opinions about money. Number one, I believe that money, if you've made money before, you can make it again. That's my opinion. Do you know why? If you have sense, like you had the brain to do something. And that's why
Or
when you
you
check,
are just in the right
no,
environment.
hold on. When you check founders of most, groundbreaking applications or whatnot, you check their resume. They have failed once, twice, 3 times, sometimes multiple times, other startups. But how come that one, like Uber, what's his
lucky.
name? TK. I think TK is the founder. I can't remember his full name, but TK, he did like 2 or 3 startups that failed. Now, Uber, do you know what it means for your app to be so good that Uber became a verb? Like
True.
Uber is a noun.
Uber is
It's a
Very
noun.
good now and then.
As a word, it's a noun.
Yes.
But
But
you have to acknowledge that he was lucky.
how was he lucky?
He produced something in the right environment.
Yeah, right environment. But what I'm trying to say is that
Because there are
Even
many
though he
startup
has
founders that
lost
we have not heard
before.
about and will never hear about
yeah,
them.
even though he lost before, I'm just trying to say that sometimes, like Franklin said, people think money is the end. For me, I'm more of, so you worked hard though, but if something is not working out, remove yourself. Take a step back. It's okay. You have done it before. You can run it again. That's just me. And I don't think is everything you need to die on top. Is all die, no be die. Just sometimes remove yourself. Like, if you have done it before, you will do it again and probably better. And this might sound aspire to perspire, but every failure is a lesson. 1, 2.
Money can't buy happiness.
When people say money cannot buy happiness, nothing can
I
buy
disagree.
happiness, my dear. But
I
if
think money can buy happiness.
if happiness can be bottled up and so, guess what will buy it?
If money can solve your problems,
Money. So
Let me explain. My own quick rebuttal to yours is that my mental health amount of money in my bank account.
it's directly proportional.
Do you understand? It is not inversely.
It's directly
Very
proportional.
directly proportional. The more money in my bank account, be better, my man.
The graph,
You see, I think there's
the graph dips at some point.
I was gonna say that yes.
I'm
At this current
saying that.
level, it would make sense for the graph to keep going positively.
But
But there's a
eventually-
point where there is no marginal increase in your mental health or
Mm.
happiness.
Oh,
There might-
economists.
There might
waiting
even be
for
a
that time.
depreciation at some
I'm
point.
waiting for that time.
But until then,
But until then,
Yeah,
but
I
as of
think-
right now,
I think it's good to think about this. Like sometimes project yourself to where you have the amount of money you want to have,
More.
and then what?
And then
and then what? Okay, now this is why we're talking about passion. Do you know what my passion is?
Mhm.
My passion is to not work a day in my life.
that's
That's a very interesting passion.
I just want to see everything this earth has to offer before I die.
they want to travel.
That's my passion.
I was listening to Modern
That's fair.
House's podcast about how his father retired and then he lost his identity. Like he can't.
It happens.
You've worked for so long that you
you're
don't.
some-
You no longer know who
yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
even,
So if-
even sometimes on some not busy days, like maybe you're used to just having an intense work schedule, and then on the days you're not busy, you're just like,
What's
what's
happening?
his life? You
know,
start having
like-
these existential questions.
like that's like, I know,
So
I know,
if I go
know
on leave, maybe 2 weeks
I was
leave,
going to talk
I'm
about
going to like almost lose my mind because I can't just.
I've not reached that level.
I go on leave and I'm not in Lagos.
Hey.
For 2 weeks. Yes, I'm not in Lagos.
I
I'm
go on
somewhere.
leave. Nobody's talking to me. Please don't call me.
My
Don't
laptop,
text me.
last leave I went to, what I did, I basically my leaves in my company are working leaves. So do you know what I did? I put my laptop up for upgrade and I traveled.
And I think we should
another
put this
angle.
there.
Sorry, on the I don't know that I have an unpopular opinion about money. I think my views are pretty popular. Save, stop oblaying all the time if you don't have the money to do so.
Oh yeah, true.
Spend it
true.
now, guys.
Another thing is people need to start living in their realities, which is a fact. Because as much as you aspire to perspire, as much as the next person beside you is doing XYZ, live in your reality and stop being so gullible. Because somebody comes, both of you, like, you know someone and you don't know what they've been doing, what they've been up to, then you now assume that, oh, that is that business they're doing. So you suddenly drop everything that you have been doing and say that's what you want to
that's what
do
you want.
because
Yeah,
you think that people that are doing it are making money. You don't know people's realities. And I'm not trying to say that the people who are making money always do shady, bad stuff. There's some people who are actually, fortunate. I can't compete with a trust fund baby. Like, that's not...
far from it.
wish.
Exactly. So you can't compete. So
You can't compete with someone that's not renting.
yeah,
I didn't throw shots, but I understand. I just threw something.
some of us...
Wait, is anybody here a homeowner?
No.
No, but
Okay.
someone here is not renting.
Anyways,
Oh, yeah, that's true. Actually.
haters will hate and potatoes will potate.
So you can't even relate to it.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Please.
Yes, would you rather like rent was paid like monthly and not yearly?
I like yearly
No,
rent.
it really
yearly
makes a lot of
I
sense.
love
I,
it.
I, the
I
whole-
Well, you
know that
understand the
culture never
context
changes.
behind
Yes,
monthly.
I understand the
monthly.
context.
I would rather. So, as someone who doesn't rent for now,
It's be more expensive if it's monthly.
I am quite. On TikTok when all these
it would
realtors
actually be cheaper.
show rented spaces and
No.
they show a square and call
It's
it a
never
kitchen.
cheaper.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, you people know.
If your rent is $1 million,
You
let's
people
say,
know.
and
That's you dividing it by a year. But if they want to start shifting,
they'll add
to
their
them,
margins.
they will just
Yeah,
it
they'll
will
add
not
their
be good
margins.
for
Here's why me.
No, what if it's
Renting
agreed?
for a
Like,
year makes
this
sense.
is what
What
if,
if
what
you
if
could
like
split
your
it?
contract is agreed?
They'll
This
change
is
the
it
contract.
split into.
No,
No, you
let's
have
assume
terms
it's
in
a
your contract
hypothetical,
to
right?
ensure
Yes.
that you
They're
can't
lawyer,
just
you know
be.
people can change contracts.
What
No,
I
we're
just
saying-
saying,
we're just
they
assuming
have
an
hypothetical
hypothetical.
situations.
Keeping everything keeping everything equal. Would you take monthly or do you take yearly?
No, it
I'll
makes
take
sense
monthly.
to
I'll
take
take
monthly.
monthly.
It makes sense to
Let
take
me tell you
monthly,
why I'll
no.
take yearly.
I'll take yearly.
You
Like,
forget about it, yeah?
I use my bonus to pay rent.
Big man.
Hmm.
Odogu
no,
Power
Bonus can
One.
cover your.
It's-
Okay,
it
I
used
silence,
to be able.
sir.
It used to be able
President
to.
General.
It used to be able to, but
Silencer.
now I have to move.
This has gotten really bad, honestly.
My landlord gave the whole building. I don't know if anybody else is experiencing this right now, but it's a trend. Landlords are giving their whole buildings quick notice
Yeah, they want
because
to
they
sell.
want, they want to sell or they want to increase
I
the
think
rent.
that selling is just a play to get people to get out so that they can renovate
Yeah,
and
so-
increase the rent.
So basically, before my bonus could just cover it, and I'm like, yes, I'm good.
Oh, God.
Till next year again. But now,
Do you know, I think things have gotten really bad, but because we're probably not in the better generation, so can't relate. I was talking to my boss recently and he said that his first car, he got it with his bonus. And I'm thinking, in what world can I get
that's
a
why
car?
they keep telling us to go to school.
Okay, so before we go, one last question. Who or what has been your biggest influence in regards to money? Like who or what? For me, I would say who? My auntie. My auntie, who most people know that my auntie is one of the biggest influence when it comes to my actions with money, because she's very open and very educative about like her mistakes, what she wishes she had done when she was my age, what she did, how, you know, she's open about it. And like, as much as people say, learn from other people's mistakes, also learn from other people's successes. So if you've seen this thing work for 1-2 people, maybe try it can work for you. So that's the who. The what is, I think, growing up in worry and, you know, seeing like, so I grew up in worry, but I went to school in different places. Then I came back. So like mixing up and then coming back, it was like, it's not, so yeah, that's it. Those are the 2 major things that, I'm not saying worry is a village, but I'm just saying that, you know, it could be better.
We get it.
Anyways, my dad and my dad's friend. My dad is basically very open. If you want his account balance, he gives you. You want to see his statements. If you want to see his net worth, he shows you. This is what. Before I make any huge decision, I usually put him on the phone. Then my dad's friend for aspirational wealth. That man is a billionaire. So every time I look up to him and I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to be. How do I get to where?
Hearing this video?
No, my dad started out sapele, worse than worry. Paddling canoes to school.
You know, quite
So
better.
wherever my dad is now, my dad is like, I have done immensely better than my background. So your job is to do better than your background.
Makes sense.
So when I look at aspirational wealth, he's my dad's friend. They are friends, very close friend. But I look at him and I'm like, whatever steps you use to get to where you are, let me just be following you at your back.
At least.
Do you understand? So those are my 2.
GC.
Andrew Tate, how big is your Bugatti? What's the color of your? I'm joking. I don't really know if I have anyone I look up to for money. I've mostly been just doing it on my own for the most part. And I mean, I'm not really good at asking for advice. Right? But like, if I see a clickbait title that relates to my life, I'll read it. So yeah, not to say that the people I grew up with did not handle money, but they were not very transparent about it and all of that, and cagey about it. So maybe that was their way of like sorting things out. But I don't really know what's up with them.
Okay.
So I don't think I have anybody that I'm looking up to.
Frankly.
Yeah, I don't think of money a lot, like as an end, like I said earlier, right? So I've never had any model I look up to. But now you're asking, I'll say maybe Shola, the founder of Paystack, right?
Okay.
Being able to be buoyant because you've figured out a problem and you solved it. So I'm more of a builder.
Ezra.
Shola and Ezra, they are both the founders.
Yeah.
So yeah, aspire to maybe one
To
day
be
solve.
liquid like Ezra.
How did he put it again?
Is that-
Incredibly.
Unbelievably liquid.
That is a goal.
Shout out
That
to
is a
Ezra.
goal. Shout out. I hope you follow him. I follow it just to get in
like
that,
when you
that
see the
state of
plate
mind.
numbers, you see a Tesla with Ezra with God. No, those are things to aspire towards.
Exactly.
And those people have solved like actual problems. So it's fair enough if they're living their lives,
Are,
right?
you, are you comfortable with people selling their businesses?
It makes sense to not sell, but to hand over a business to someone that will grow it more. Like Paystack is an international business because of Stripe, right? So it makes sense.
There's something I would say before we continue. My current industry is going through it, right? So I'm a tech writer. And it's because many individual website owners are selling to big businesses, right? And those big businesses buy it, and then they fire all the staff, all the people that have been there for years, that built the website like from the ground up with the founders, and then fire them, hire talent cheap, just basically bastardize the industry and get as much money out of it.
And it's the founder's fault, really. I don't think it's the founder's fault.
As a founder, somebody offers you $2 million for your product. Why not?
Yeah, that's why I say money should not be why you're
Why
starting
not?
out.
So I
Yeah,
don't know.
so
This selling thing, I don't know.
okay, we can get
iffy.
into that, guys, later. Let's share Maketh.
Okay. Real quick. So mine is my sister, right? Once she started earning an income, she got very interested in investments. So she would join, first of all, she was buying shares, and then she would join even the board meetings of companies, check things about dividends. And then when she got really into it, she started helping my mom recover dividends from like shares she bought before she was married. So obviously I'm younger. So when I started earning an income as well, I got into that as well. And we're just very big savers, right? So yeah, my sister, and there's a YouTuber I follow who I think she makes like 300K a year. And just talking about how much she saves, how much she invests. She's a big saver, and I am as well. So her name is Bukola, so that's an influence. And what is circumstances? I just always grew up thinking, because I think everybody in my house is a bit tight with money. So I just kept on thinking, there's not enough, so let me just keep saving. So I think these are my influences.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming on my show. Thank you to the returning faces, DC and Chiamaka. Thank you to Franklin and Femi. And thank you to you guys for watching. This is the Gen Z Roundtable discussion. If we talked about anything that you'd like to comment about, passion or paycheck, what are your influences about money, and so many other things that we discussed on this amazing episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe below. Until the next time you see my face, have an amazing day. Thank you.